The Ferrocarriles del Ecuador Empresa Publica is the national railway of Ecuador. The railway system was devised to connect the Pacific coast with the Andean highlands. After many decades of service, the railway was severely damaged by heavy rainfall during the El Niño in 1997 and 1998 and from general neglect as the Pan-American highway siphoned off passengers. In 2008, the President Rafael Correa named the railroad a national cultural patrimony and indicated that it would be restored. The government of Ecuador started to rehabilitate the railway and service was restored between Guayaquil and Quito by 2013. Tourist trains and rail buses are running from Quito via Cotopaxi National Park to Latacunga, between Alausi to Sibombe, between El Tambo and Baños del Inca, between Durán and Yaguachi and between Ibarra and Salinas. Construction. The project of an Ecuadorian railway was started by President Gabriel García Moreno in 1861. The first section was opened between Durán and Milagro in 1873. A buque was reached by 1888. The push into the Andes was made under President Eloy Alfaro, who planned to link Quito in the highlands to Guayaquil on the coast of Ecuador. For advice, Alfaro turned to Col. William Findlay Shunk, a well-known North American engineer who designed the New York L, and who had mapped a route of the Intercontinental Railway through Ecuador, Colombia, and Panama in 1892. The Intercontinental Railway was never built. However, in 1897, Eloy Alfaro commissioned a contract with Archer Harmon and a team of investors for the newly created New Jersey Corporation, the Guayaquil and Quito Railway Company, or the GNAMQ, to rehabilitate and complete the railroad from Guayaquil to Quito. Archer Harmon and his brother, Major John A. Harmon, were from Staunton, Virginia. Together, Archer and John helped Alfaro to realize his dream of connecting disparate parts of Ecuador, break the hold of the Catholic Church, and usher the 20th century and modernity into Ecuador. The GNAMQ railway line was built between 1897 and 1908 when the line reached Quito amidst celebration that lasted for days, and shortened the often lengthy trip from Quito to Guayaquil to 2 days. The GNAMQ railway line evolved into the southern division of Empresa de Ferrocarriles Ecuatorianos operation. The railway represents the largest infrastructure of the country with a total length of 965.5 kilometers. Its single track uses a gauge of 3 feet 6 in. The 446.7 kilometers southern division starts at the harbor of Guayaquil with a ferry to Durán and then heads east into the Andean mountains, where a more than 2.5 kilometers difference in altitude has to be overcome to reach Riobamba at 2,754 meters. A major gain in altitude is made at the Devil's Nose, where the train shunts back and forth along the rocky promontory. From Riobamba, the train heads north, passing its highest point at Urbina, an altitude of 3,609 meters, to reach Quito at an altitude of 2,850 meters. The 373.4 kilometers northern division was completed in 1957. It connects Quito to the northern seaport of San Lorenzo over Ibarra, Prima Paso and Cashavi. The Cuenca line branches off near Sibombe and represents the 145.4 kilometers subdivision Sur. It was constructed between 1915 and 1965. The railway used to be of general economic significance for many decades. Initially, steam engines were obtained from the Baldwin Locomotive Works. The last set of 280 steam engines were obtained in 1953. In 1957, the first Alstom diesel-electric engines were delivered. Later engines were delivered in 1968, and again in 1992. The last delivery consisted of Alstom's AD-24 BBB with the numbers chapters 2401 to 9. Few steam and diesel engines are in an operational mode, and numbers of availability conflict. Also, a number of rail buses are part of FA demise. Since the 1997–98 disruptions, no continuous service has been conducted, and further degradation has made the railway almost useless. Road services have taken over passenger and freight transportation in Ecuador. At the 2008 centennial, only 10% of the railway was opened, only tourist trains remained active. Restoration. In 2008, the President Rafael Correa named the railroad a national cultural patrimony and indicated that it would be restored. The FA was transformed in a public corporation. Ferrocarriles del Ecuador Empresa Publica. The first section which was reopened was from Riobamba to Urbina, which now is only used for charter service. In 2009, a small section of the side branch to Cuenca from El Tambo to Baños del Inca was reopened. In 2010, the Quito-La Tacunga section restarted service after restoration. At the coast, the section between Duran near Guayaquil and Yaguachi was reopened in 2010. Also, the section Alausi-Sibombe, which entails the switchback at the Devil's Nose, was repaired by 2011. The section Riobamba-Alausi and the section Riobamba-Urbina-Ambato were restored in 2011. According to a contract, the Spanish narrow-gauge railway company FEVE3 of the Alstom's AD-24 BBB will be repaired in Spain. By 2013, the Guayaquil-Duran-Quito Railway was restored and opened to the public. Southern Division, Guayaquil and LT and GT, Quito, 1897 to 1908, 446.7 kilometers. Northern Division, Quito and LT and GT, San Lorenzo and GT, 1957, 373.4 kilometers. There are plans to expand the services further to Colombia and Venezuela. Books. Elizabeth Harmon Brainard and Catherine Robinson Brainard. Railroad in the Sky. The Guayaquil and Quito Railway in Ecuador, 1897 to 1925. Publisher Marion M.A. Atlantis Limited. Partnership 2003. ISBN 0-615-12411-9, ISBN 9780615124117. Marcelo Meneses Jurado. Tren al Sol. Train to the Sun. Journey on board the most difficult train in the world.